let's draw technology. And when I say technology, I mean there is so much technology out there nowadays. We will just cover some pieces that I found helpful in a lot of situations, especially when it comes to business. One of the devices that we use most often these days is a smartphone. And I need to apologize, I still draw like a smartphone that is an iPhone from, I think it's the iPhone 6 or something, that still had like a home button, because otherwise you can't see anymore that it is a smartphone. So what I do is I start to draw like a smartphone like this. So I leave those edges open because it's more comfortable for me, because I think when I've done that here, I can close those edges more with a round shape, because that's how a smartphone looks like. And then I give it a home button and a speaker. You see, it's an old school smartphone, if you can say there are old school smartphones. And then in comparison to that, if you want to draw a tablet, and in my case I'm often drawing an iPad, the iPad is orientated in the other way around, so it's landscape, meaning that we draw a rectangle with open-ended edges, but more the other way around, and then we close it again with those more round edges at the end, like this. And you see it's not perfect with my drawings, which is okay, right? We're not aiming for perfection. Even I would have the urge, to be honest, right now to correct these, but I will stay with them. And again, home button and a camera, because the iPad has no speaker in the front here, but on the side. So those are our smart devices. If you want to let them communicate with each other, you just add the Wi-Fi sign to them, and all of a sudden they speak to each other. Then often enough, you need a laptop, I guess, in terms of business. So a laptop is a device that has a screen like this. I draw this from the front, and then two lines here downwards but spread, so you can draw the keyboard. Perhaps you want to add a second line to make it more solid, and a kind of a trackpad. I think it's called a trackpad, right, for your fingers. I would not draw the keyboard and all the keys here because it's too complex. I wouldn't draw more than this screen. For me, that's a perfect laptop. I'm not sure how you see that, but I think it's a perfect laptop. And then the last piece would be, for example, a screen. So you might have a desktop computer with a screen. So it's just a box with a stand, and that's basically it. Perhaps you want to connect that with a cable, so you know they're connected with each other. If you want to indicate the connection even stronger, you could say you're watching a video on this one, and it's showing the same video on the screen, and that's how it all connects to each other. Then if you need, for example, when we're talking about data and data center, the last piece is like a data center module or something. You draw like a big server or computer. It's basically becoming something like a computer. If you give that these kind of random shapes, all of a sudden it gets kind of a server or something. If you want to indicate it's a server farm, perhaps you draw one more that is slightly on top of that, because it's somehow three-dimensional then. And you draw the same shapes again, and perhaps they are connected to each other, and as well they're connected on Wi-Fi. And if you want to even strengthen that this is a server farm, you can draw the binary code to them. This is how they communicate. And that's how you could draw server and data and all that kind of stuff. So that's how far I would go with technology for now. And this could help, hopefully, you to connect those things as well when you speak about communications later on.